No doubt about it.
That's so kind. Odd.
Yeah. Because I have to admit, I don't know what to make of it. Because your film I thought was sort of interesting. Because the first part I didn't like, but then I really got into it.
Which part? I mean, which movie?
Oh,
Your movie.
Oh, right.
Yeah, your movie. Yeah.
Of course, I know that movie.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what are we doing now?
Justice League.
So what are we doing now? Justice League?
Oh,
I
yeah.
got a long one on that.
Am I recording? Yes. We're back.
Okay, start being
cameras.
talent and the tech.
Is it actually recording?
Oh yeah.
I don't see anything moving.
It's this guy right here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's just very, you know what? I can do this. There you go. Let's see. Let's do this. This one. There you go.
hot.
Now we're gonna follow it.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
hot
that's
in
what.
There you go. Now we're gonna follow
Okay, let's go.
it. Okay. Justice League.
Yes.
So this is a Justice League, the Zack Snyder cut. That's what they call it.
The bell's been rung. Out in the dark, among the stars, the god is dead.
I had a dream. Almost like a premonition. I think there's an attack coming.
My lord, this world will fall.
I need warriors. I'm building an alliance to defend ourselves.
How do you know your team's strong enough? If you can't bring down the charging bull, then don't wave the red cape at it.
You were sent here for a reason. And even if it takes you the rest of your life, find out what that reason is.
They said the age of heroes would never come again.
It will. It has to.
We live in a society where honor
It's a distant memory. Isn't that right?
Batman.
Basically it's the same movie. Justice League is just his version of it. And for those who have been living under a rock, the movie it originally I think it was 20. Let's see what year was that thing? My notes are so.
How long it was?
Well, yeah, it's a very short movie. No, so stars
4 hours
the usual
and 5
suspects: Ben
minutes.
Affleck and Ben Affleck, Batman, Henry Cavill, Superman, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, and
Everybody
the kid
from
with
the
the Flash.
Flash.
Yeah, and
Everyone from the
Flash,
first
Momoa,
one.
everybody. So basically, when
Cyborg.
the studios did the first Justice League, they had Zack Snyder was doing it, and then he has a particular style, so they did not like when they screened it, they did not like where he was going, so they hired Joss Whedon to come in and they were kind of like jointly doing it, and then Joss Whedon started doing, because he has a different lighter style. Joss Whedon did of the Avengers.
The
movies.
Avengers, yeah.
So he has a lighter style, more, so he
And shorter.
and then he started filming different scenes, and then to the point that 90% of what Snyder shot was not used. So, and then at that time, his daughter committed suicide as well, Zack Snyder. So by then he let the other guy have more control, and then he was pretty much changing everything. And finally he said, "You know what? I quit." No, he just left. And then Joss Whedon, they released that version, and of course everybody hated it. It was horrendous.
It was great.
It was, it was.
Wait your turn.
Then the fans found out that there was a Snyder, that's just Zack Snyder had a version of it. So they complaining. Even the crew and the cast members said, we want the Snyder Cut. That became a big, hashtag, Snyder Cut. And then they, so the studios went, sure, we'll do it. So they brought in Zack Snyder and he reshot. And then he shot, basically brought in all the actors, and they did a whole, I think even Superman had to have like his beard, CGI'd off, because at that time he had a beard too.
Oh, right. That was the mustache for the Mission Impossible movie. But that's the Josh Whedon scene.
Oh, that's okay. So maybe he shaved by this time. So anyway, and then he reshot everything. They did all, and then they were gonna release it as a series. So it was gonna be like a 6-part series. So you will see maybe for it, and they ended up just doing it all in one swoop. And so this movie has basically 0 scenes that Josh Whedon shot. Nothing from Josh Whedon. So it's all the scenes that Snyder did, plus they reshot some scenes. And actually, I would say I enjoyed it. I liked it better than the first one. I thought it delved more into the characters, into their story. So every episode, because they divided into or chapter 1, chapter 2, they will go into like the Cyborg. They go into his whole story. Because in the Josh Whedon story, we almost know nothing about Cyborg, and he has a very strong story behind him. And also everybody, the Flash. So yeah, I like that he really got into every character's story, and before bringing it all together for the scenes. And then I even heard people saying that even certain scenes made them cry, like Superman with his mother, and they never cry in superhero movies. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. 4 hours pretty long actually. I like that he broke it up into chapter 1, chapter 2, so he kind of kept you. And since this chapter had a different story, but based on a different character, he kept your. To me, I felt like I was watching a whole new movie again. So, yeah, I enjoyed it.
Okay, so hands down, the best superhero movie I've ever seen. I really liked it. I'm not a usual fan. All the ones you make me watch. I'm not usually a fan of superhero movies. As I call them, comic book movies. But to me, this was more adventure drama.
Yeah.
It was kind of like what I would call like a grown-up movie. Like it was very serious. And I love that he divided it up like a book. Like everything had a chapter. And so therefore I could follow all the stories individually, and then they kind of came together at the end, just like a book would.
I remember Zack Snyder did a Watchmen, which has the kind of dark.
Yes.
And
I watched that.
And he did Sucker Punch, which you really liked.
Oh,
loved it. Okay, the movie is over 4 hours long, but I actually didn't mind at all. It was like it didn't feel like it was a long time.
It flew by. It's like, it's 4 hours already.
It gave him time to develop each character and the story. I also like the 4x3?
Oh yeah, that's aspect ratio
of the film.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what that.
It was a square. It wasn't.
It wasn't widescreen.
It wasn't widescreen. It was a square, which kind of gave it to me like
comic book film.
Well, not only that, from a different era, like you were watching.
Oh yeah, like a 40s movie.
Yeah, and that's how it
and
felt
also
like that to
he
me.
wanted to because it was kind of showcased on IMAX, so that's why he wanted to have also the height as well as the width.
It's like something I would have watched as a kid, the chemistry between the characters were great. Amy Adams with Clark Kent, Henry Cavill. Cyborg, Victor Stone, and his dad, Joe Morton. And they really had complicated relationships, which I thought was really great. I never thought Batman was better than Ben Affleck. I thought he was perfect as Batman. I've never seen a Batman that went, yes. And the way that
and people hated him being
Batman.
Batman.
I loved him. I thought he was great. I always have problems with Momoa as...
Just Momoa?
Yeah.
As Aquaman?
I have a problem with him as Aquaman. Not with him particularly, but Aquaman doesn't look anything like that.
I think Patrick Wilson should be Aquaman.
Yeah,
and Jason Momoa should be. There's a character called Lobo.
Yeah.
Literally, it looks like they were drawing Jason Momoa when they invented this character, and this is long before Momoa was even a household name.
Well, Aquaman is kind of a blonde person. Right?
It's Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, there you go, Patrick Wilson. Let's see what else. Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot was great.
She's perfect.
Well, she was great. It's like they didn't make her into like a sex symbol. She was one of the team. But they did in the movie. You like no butt shots, no, you know.
One of the complaints of what they had for the Josh Whedon version was that every scene of Wonder Woman started with a nice close up of her bottom, and then we'll pan away from it, but every angle. So it was always showcasing all of that, and none of that on the Zack Snyder version.
But yes, because she was she was taken seriously figure, you know, and also, what was the other point I was going to make about that her that I liked? I don't know. I'll think of it, but yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was good.
You know, it's very funny because I will say this right now: you're seeing two different movies. Period. Now, I happen to think the Josh Whedon movie was okay. Like for example, I give it a 6, but it was light.
And
it was fun
high for him.
and like the Flash stuff.
It was great.
I really thought it was funny. So I liked Josh Whedon's version as far as being entertained. I found that more entertaining. Now, the Zack Snyder thing, I will say this, that the drama is there because you're seeing more of the background now. So a lot of things that were not filled in the Josh Whedon version, you're seeing it now. Because Darkseid, for example, is only mentioned in the Josh Whedon's version. So when they said that, I thought, well, I had no idea who Darkseid was, or I'm not a comic book person.
I still
right?
don't.
Okay. Well, at least you watched this one, so now you know.
He's basically
at least you see the character.
He's basically DC's Thanos.
Basically, exactly.
Oh, he's the bad guy.
Yes. So what happens then is that the stuff that I like, for example, in Josh Whedon, that again got edited out, was I think the Aquaman character sitting on the Wonder Woman's lasso and making that confessions.
Loved it.
I thought that was hilarious, and that was actually the highlight I think of one of the films. And again, the Flash stuff, like when Cyborg takes off to go get the box, and you hear the Flash say, "Did he just bail?" I mean, they're really funny stuff that they left out, and I said, "That's Josh Whedon." I mean, that's the Buffy the Vampire Slayer kind of stuff mentality.
But
it was Snyder.
It's not just Josh Whedon. It's like they told him, "We want this to be a comedy, and it has to be under."
Well, no, I disagree. It is Josh Whedon because if you watch any Buffy, that's he injects humor. That's the thing. He can inject humor, and to be quite honest, for example, if I was taking my 10-year-old, I would take him to see Josh Whedon's. I'm not letting him watch this version, Zack Snyder's version, because this
You're okay
is.
with those
But that's why.
blood shots?
Because it needs to be his nap time.
Yeah, and also that's
Well,
why.
no, it's just the fact that because again, this is more serious. It's more violent. For example, the language too. Oh, are you kidding? They cut somebody's head off. You know, things like that. You see people getting cut in half. You know.
It's also
Cut somebody's head off. That's nothing.
but you're right because
But what I will say again, because of the drama, it does make more sense. And you know, they changed the way. What's his name? The Kieran Hines character. Who? That's another thing I did. For example, I didn't like the fact that I could hardly tell it was Kieran Hines speaking because they altered his voice so much.
Who's Karen Hines?
The guy with the horns. What's his
with
character?
the horns.
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf. Thank
Yes.
you. Steppenwolf.
Dun,
See,
dun,
you
dun,
did pay attention. You knew
Oh, I paid attention. I wrote a lot of
But
notes.
see, and that's why, for example, they changed his look.
Right, they changed Steppenwolf completely.
Yeah, and so that's what I said. You're seeing two completely different movies. I also would say I would never go to a 4-hour movie. Period. I mean, but I will also say this: I never really liked any Zack Snyder films. Now, and one thing too, this is following the heels of Batman versus Superman, which I'd never seen.
It's great.
Well, no, exactly. But see, that's, I know, introduced Wonder Woman, and then it goes from Superman's death, basically, from that film. And I
And
guess,
also, Zack Snyder did
spoilers for who has never seen any Justice League movie. Turn it, put your fingers in your ears now, that when they resurrect Superman, for example. See, the whole story that Zack Snyder has going for him, in my opinion, you've already seen. So you know you don't have to pay attention to the actual plot line. See, in the first movie, I'm trying to pay attention to the plot line and this and that, you know? It's like, okay. And I will say this on both films, stop with the slow motion. Flash, I get, but there's way too much slow motion that takes up too much time, in my opinion, in these movies, you know? I don't need to see them fighting in slow motion. But, for example, there are things that Zack Snyder has that I love that he fills in. And the stupidest little things. Like one of them, like I said, was, well, not stupid, but Cyborg story. I was wondering if he's going to have an origin story now, his own film, because you find out exactly sort of his origin in this film, which you knew nothing about, like you said. Same thing with the Flash. He put more the Flash's character and his capabilities, and took sort of the goofiness out. He still injected his own humor, though. I really liked, but to me, huh? Oh, there is some fun stuff in it, actually, if you watch it. But the problem is, a great example is when they're making jokes about Wonder Woman. When the Flash says, do you think Wonder Woman will go with a younger guy? Said, she's 5,000 years old. Everyone's a younger guy to her. And again, I thought that was fun stuff, but it's not the same goofy humor that Joss Whedon has. So as I said, Joss Whedon's version to me is more entertaining. But this, like you said, definitely has more depth to it.
It's a serious one, right? The other one is more...
So, like I said, one is for children, one is obviously for adults.
Like when I saw the Man of Steel, because that's the one introduced that's Zack Snyder did that Man of Steel, which was the first Superman with the Cavill. And I saw that it was so dark, and I go, damn, Superman got really dark suddenly. And I go, because that's his style, as opposed to the Avengers and all that.
To be quite honest, and one last thing is the DC Comics stuff, that's what I don't get, because ever since they did The Dark Knight, I haven't watched any of them because I literally have no interest. It's like, this is too dark. I don't get this. I thought this was stuff for kids that should be fun and light, in my opinion, right? But so this new version of comics is definitely aimed at adults and for a different audience.
But also because...
Now, on top of that, what I think is very funny is the fact that these are grossing hugely. Now, I know Joss Whedon's Justice League lost money, but I can't see this making any more money than the original one did.
It probably won't,
Well, it won't, because it's, like I said, people have seen it, so they know the story.
But also DC Comics, like Batman was Detective Comics, so it was kind of aimed at adults in a way, because it was a mystery. So, I always find DC a little darker than Marvel.
Which is, again, why that Wonder Woman, that first Wonder Woman, really astounded me, because I thought, this has everything I would want to see in a comic book hero.
Absolutely.
In a movie, rather. But you really see that growth of character. And that's, I said, you see that now, at least in the Flash and the younger characters. You see the growth of character in the younger characters. You're just seeing the continuation of the drama with the older ones.
Right.
So, and I didn't understand the dream sequences, so somebody has to explain that to me. That's it.
Okay. I love the first Justice League because of the humor. And that's what I like about... See, I never read any of these comic books. I never read comic books, you know what I mean? So I'm seeing all these for the first time, and that's how I'm learning about them. But Zach, you don't need to make it 4 hours long. What he did was used everything from the first one, Josh's, and then said, I swear, this is what I thought. He's so pissed he didn't do the first one, he's got to double everything. So there was so much in there that did not need to be in there. No long stairs, though. That's it. So what I wrote was, one is, when you see Wonder Woman, I want to hear that damn music. Wonder Woman music, not that, what did they call it? That lamenting...
Haunt.
Right. Which sucked. Because the music really, especially for action films, makes it or breaks it. Okay.
Oh, so you didn't like the new score then?
The score sucks.
Okay. I understand that because of
I'm trying to think of a better word.
Well, Danny, what is this? When the first one too, when they did the first Justice League, they had I can't remember the composer, and he was also replaced with Danny Elfman, and he scored the first Justice League. I can't remember who scored this one.
You know what? I don't even remember the music, but I do love the Wonder Woman. Certain music you like, when you hear that Wonder Woman score, you know that Wonder Woman's coming, and it's such a great piece.
Wonder Woman.
No, not that one.
I know. The Bee Gees could have done that
so
song.
The music was not right, which totally kills it for me. But what I felt was he was trying to prove how much he wasn't like the other guy, Josh, whatever his name is, right? And he put way too much information. I didn't care. You know what I mean? What I liked about the first one, 4 hours, I'm sorry. So I watched it, hated it, except for great cinematography.
Special effects?
I have to actually read it because there's so few things I do like about it. Yep, that was it. But the way he shows things, like in Watchmen, like I didn't know
Well,
he did that movie.
he's got dark. Sucker Punch is one of my favorite movies too.
Sucker Punch.
I don't know if you've seen
It's
that.
the way
he did
he-
Watchmen, Sucker Punch. Have you seen that?
Oh, no.
It's a great movie.
We haven't done that movie.
We should do it.
Yeah. Anyway, so what he does is
Bjork soundtrack.
the way the cinematography is amazing, and the way he uses color, everything's dark. But in certain things, no. Example: when Batman is leaving Aquaman in his village, this is what the many.
Thoroughly agree there.
The
Thoroughly agree
singing,
there.
the girl
that was-
singing,
Yes.
a really bad song, and there was absolutely no need for it to go on for 2.5 minutes. Okay,
I disagree that was a bad song. I just didn't understand the purpose of it, though. You're right.
Right.
I thoroughly agree there, yeah.
okay.
Maybe the
She
song
stared
of the
into
sea or something like that.
Okay,
I thought the Highlander was going to
song.
show up something the other.
it just you don't need it.
Right.
You know, cut next.
Yeah, to me that was unnecessary
The
too.
bad guy's got to be. If there's not a good bad guy, it's doomed. Just doomed. Steppenwolf looked badder. Is that word right? Looked badder.
Worse.
No, he was great.
Oh, okay.
I love.
Look,
Oh.
mean
But
and
the
tougher.
humor they took all away his humor,
Right.
the sarcastic little things he puts in. He looked better than the big bad guy.
Right.
And no, I do not know his name. Right?
Yeah, the big bag.
See,
So-
his lines are the ones I was disappointed were cut too. Like when he says, "Oh, you weren't born of the box," like Cyborg when he addresses him. Things like that, little things I thought were really funny.
Even with the Amazons, too much information. I don't need to know all that crap. Just bring it down to basic. I had no need after the first one to go, I can go look up Amazons, right? I don't need to. And they drew it out. And he did use a lot of Josh's stuff. But then he expanded it.
No. He's
No,
used
see,
zero.
Josh Whedon used Zack Snyder's footage.
Yeah,
so
the
that's
first
the same.
movie.
Yeah.
The first movie, it was Zack Snyder is the one that did it. So it
did?
was so. What it was is that it was more like Josh Whedon was using Zack Snyder's footage, and then he added his footage to it. In this movie, the thing that you saw that was repetitive was actually Zack Snyder's footage that Josh Whedon had used.
Right.
Zack Snyder used
Well, I don't
zero.
blame him. It'd be 5 hours long.
So
then.
Zack Snyder ended up using zero of the footage that Josh Whedon shot, extra shots. So what you're seeing is only the footage from the first one that was Zack Snyder's.
Right.
Which
So
was
then I
10%.
watched it again last night. After 2.5 hours, that's it. It's too much. It's too much information that did not need to be there. But if they could combine his cinematography with a shortened down version,
And a little more goofy.
Well, yeah, because
Humor,
he's right.
humor.
Well, he's right. It's two different movies. One is a dark, and the other
no.
one is a humorous, lighter movie.
Like I
So
said,
it's
one
actually
to me is
two.
more for kids. The other one's more for
One
adults.
Spider-
it's funny. I
Spider-Man,
never think of it like that. I think of it as how it appeared to me was Josh did a movie, right? Zach's pissed he didn't get it or any of his stuff is in it, and so he decided to
Well, he got
amplify everything.
He did the movie. That was his movie. His daughter or son
His daughter.
killed herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then he couldn't continue. So they brought in
Right.
Josh to do it. He already
And
shot
then it
it.
became his movie.
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
already shot the movie.
What I'm saying is, it did not need to be 4 hours long.
Well, that's
But
cool.
I
I
agree-
think I got that point.
Because
Did you get that point, George?
I do agree. It's like, do you really need to see how the ceremony holds when they shoot the burning arrow?
Yeah.
It's like, I just preferred when she just said, "Listen to me, Diane," and
Yeah.
what's the owner?
Well,
It's like,
well,
that's it, right?
That's what I meant. Yeah.
If they were gonna
Thank
do it
you.
that long,
Yeah.
what they should have done is do like a miniseries, like every Friday, next Friday you see the next episode,
Well, he would
or the
not do
6
that.
episode series.
Well, again, like you said, that's what he obviously planned to do, and you're right. In fact, I could see that being like a 10-hour thing, and that would be fine if it was a series. But,
if it was a
but,
series,
to sit, like I said,
In
for,
one
for 4
sitting.
hours,
Yeah, it's
was
punishing.
I had to watch it in 3 different sittings, I think. It's like, because sometimes I was pissed off. It's like, oh, they took that out. Other things, they say, oh, they put in the stuff that was cut out of the trailer, for example. It's like, oh, they put that back in. So that's why I thought was really sort of fascinating. And I forgot to mention that the one thing about the Wonder Woman, One thing that always disturbed me is that how her rope kept attached. She'd be using it, and all of a sudden she just jumps, and you see it attached perfectly wound up. He actually showed how she gets it back, puts up her shield, all within a second. And I thought, but I said, oh, that's what I'm saying. It's little things like that. I said, oh, at least they showed that, instead of me saying, oh, that's stupid. Look, her rope's right there after she just used it.
Were you worried about?
In the first Joss Whedon one, I was. Because at one point, you see her use it come up, and I thought, it's on her belt. It's like, how did it do it? Because you're watching every single second of her fighting.
Because you think it's bad cut.
Right.
Yeah, it makes you think it's a bad cut.
Wait a minute. That affects your believability.
Slightly.
A guy flying, a guy from the sea.
Well, that's it. It's likelier to be believed.
That's what I said. It's the little things, subtle things. I thought, oh, he added stuff that I really like that explains stuff. But... like I said, it's like he put way too much stuff in there.
Way too much.
Yeah.
But I love the look of it.
Okay, it's time to score.
Before we do our own 4-hour-long review of the movie.
I give it a 9 also. I liked it.
I give it a 6.
I give it a 5.
I'll give it an 8.
Okay. So that will do this one.
See, isn't that funny? The longest movie probably got the longest discussion.
Hey, that's right.
Now we're going to come to Patty's favorite.
Okay, hold on. Let me do this.